about to feed him to the sharks right now. Get him hype right now. Yeah. You know the ground is up. Yeah. Everybody that trains, you know the game. Yeah. So let's get it. Slap it up, bump it and roll. Hey. Yeah, that's the way that it goes. Ain't no better way to better yourself in this game. You're feeling the growth. It's time on the mat. We put in the work. Believe it ain't easy, I know. But we train for the love of the game, the love of the art. Now slap it up, bump it, let's roll.
Welcome to episode 14 of the BJJ Campaign podcast. This is our New Year's edition. Phil?
That's right.
My name is Jeff Boone. I'm an A3, blue belt, one stripe.
This is Phil Kors, A2, white belt, 4 stripes. And for those watching on YouTube, you'll see that Jeff is wearing his new Christmas gi that he got.
Yep.
Very exciting.
That's right. Red and white. Just like Santa. A joke, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not in my gi. Although I would if I had a sweet gi like that.
Yeah, Santa gi? That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Yep. So, Phil, on today's episode, we're going to talk about kind of where we've come from 2018, from the beginning of 2018 till now.
Yeah.
And maybe some of our goals for 2019.
Yeah.
So why don't you kick it off?
Man, I was thinking about it the other day. You know how the year's coming to a close and stuff. I've never been a big, New Year's resolution guy.
Me either.
But got thinking about, how far, I have come, in the past year with Jiu-Jitsu. I started October of 17. So the beginning of 2018 was obviously still very new to me. Only having been going to class at that time twice a week for 2 months or so. But yeah, just thinking about how I go now and how often I go and what I know now versus then. It's just amazing because you think about your progression. Even when we were talking with Ryan about plateaus and all that stuff and getting frustrated because you can't solve something for a week or two, but then to think on it. Because I plan on doing this long term, and you think back to a 1 year time frame, which in the grand scheme of things, for me, hopefully won't be very long.
Yeah.
1 year ago, I had never even rolled, Maybe with
amazing.
John in a private, but never stayed for a sparring class, never rolled with anybody else. But I don't think I had rolled with John at that time yet. But I can't be 100% sure, but never stayed for a class for it.
That blows me away until I roll shamed you into staying.
Yeah, should have done that sooner.
Well, I tried every time.
But
you were not receptive to my pleads.
Very true. Very true. Ignore a lot of the stuff you say.
Yeah, of course. It's evident. You probably should. So Phil, where were you? So where were you as far as your belt? What? How many stripes did you have? I don't even know.
I don't think I would have had. I don't know when I got the first one. But I don't.
Shame on you. See, if you would have been taking that down in my BJJ notes, you would know, just like I know, that on January 24th, 2018, I got my 3rd stripe on my white belt.
So I feel like it's not much of a surprise that I'm not an observe around me very well person. I didn't notice people had stripes. I saw the different colors; those stood out. But stripes, I had no idea. Didn't even notice them. But yeah, no, I don't believe it. As of January, I don't think I had a stripe. I don't.
So it makes sense, maybe.
I mean, if you think about it, that's 2 months. So you think 8 weeks, probably less than that because there's holiday time.
Yeah.
And they're closed and Thanksgiving, or I guess, so 12 weeks. But they're closed for, that's maybe 20 classes.
Yeah, and you weren't coming in as frequently then either.
No, I was twice a week. Just one fundamentals class, 1 hour, twice a week. So
yeah.
That's maybe 20 classes if I made it to everything.
And then you did privates then too, right? Did you start doing?
True, yeah. No, yeah. I did those pretty much right away. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe close to 30 total classes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
So I mean, what I was talking to you about my questions for you, like where were you? It was non-existent. Like I didn't even understand sitting up posture in the guard, let alone the mind-blowing engaging the hips thing I've learned recently.
Just a couple weeks ago.
So I didn't even understand like the guard, the mount. Like I didn't know the positions. I didn't know anything. You know, it just was something totally new at that point.
You didn't know that the guard meant that your opponent's legs were between you and him.
Yes.
You didn't know?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't understand at that point at all. No.
That's amazing. That's an amazing year. Now 4 stripes on the white belt. Getting really close to blue whenever that happens. I'm sure it will at some point soon. Yeah, but so for me, you know, I did my first competition last year. And a couple weeks after the competition, I got my blue belt. And it seemed like so many concepts were unfamiliar to me. You know, it seems like in the last 8 to 9 months, I've been really focused on the fundamentals and working all of those techniques into actually rolling, quite unsuccessfully a lot of times. But, you know, I just take, for example, you know, we were kind of talking about this last night. My triangle is trash, right? It's gotten a lot better. Still trash.
Yeah.
But it's gotten a lot better now. And it's one of those things where I think that as we segue into kind of where we go for 2019, I think it's one of those things that we look at and say, how did it get better? Well, I think that's a pretty tangible example of working on a technique, trying it in rolling, and drilling the technique. I mean, I think that's one thing that as of late we've both done better is more specific drilling, and I think that just makes you better. You know, the old saying, drillers are killers. I mean, it's true.
So going back to the beginning for you, where about would you say you were January 1st of 2018?
Where was I? I mean, I was a 3-stripe, or I was a 2-stripe. January 1st, I was a 2-stripe white belt. I rolled from the very start without much success, and I think that at that point in time, I was experiencing success over the new people who came in, and really nothing else. You know, as far as being able to do any techniques and rolls, I think that I was just at that point, I was just finding my love for the flower sweep. You know, I think that was one of the big things that I was doing, that I was working on then, and I still love it today. One of my favorite sweeps. Trying to think, you know, I kind of had the idea that I wanted to compete at some point in time, and then shortly thereafter, I think it was around whenever I got my 3rd stripe on my white belt, around that January 24th time, I said, all right, I'm gonna make a goal of competing, and it's gonna be in March. Well, March there wasn't one. I had to be out of town for work, so I couldn't do it. So the next big tournament, which is what I wanted to compete in, because I wanted to get a lot of matches, which I did in my first tournament. I got 6 matches, and that was in May. So I think, like, I mean, we've talked about it. I think I should compete, and I think everyone should compete, but I don't care to compete. You know, what I like about competing is I like that whenever I'm going to do a competition, the training that leads up to that competition, meaning I take that extra level, that extra step, and, you know, go to the Charlotte School for the competition training, and my jiu-jitsu gets a lot better at that point in time. So I mean, I'm going to continue that, and, you know, probably annually, my goal will be always to have at least one competition, right?
Yeah.
a year. I think that's plenty for me, to let me know where I'm at, and also to give me that bonus training that I wouldn't otherwise get if I wasn't competing.
Sure. Yeah. So, like, in terms of, like, when you were rolling, it's probably hard to imagine, because if you asked me, like, where I was in June, I'd have a hard time explaining it. But it's tougher for me, because obviously I had nothing, like, having never done it.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times when you learn something and then you do drill it and then you find some success with it in the rolls, I think it's almost immediate that you just kind of take it for granted, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like, then it's just something you know, and you don't, like, it's just become something you know, right, I guess. Like, for me, like, even shrimping, right? Like, I felt like I kind of understood that pretty well, and then I'll just keep seeing and hearing things I'm doing wrong when I'm shrimping. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I shrimped for maybe 9 months with 1 foot instead of 2, you know? And that's about half as good as it should be.
Yeah.
And we'll just, start there. And it's something that's probably always going to be improving, hopefully. So, just in terms of those techniques that, like, things you kind of take for granted, you don't necessarily think about, is there any
100%.
stuff that sticks out that, like, you were doing in January that now kind of picked up?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and that goes along with all of our warm-ups, right? In January of 2018, I couldn't side shrimp,
Right.
right?
That was until like a week and a half ago.
I know for
showed
you
I
it
finally
was,
figured it out.
yeah. But similar timelines, right? On our training, I couldn't do Granby rolls. I couldn't physically do it. My mobility in my back and my hips wasn't good enough for me to physically do that. Now it is, and again, I do kind of take it for granted, but it shouldn't be. That's what we're kind of looking back on is, I think just everything in the warm-ups, as small as really paying attention to the detail of bridging, right? I mean, I was doing kind of the old wrestler's bridge. That wasn't the right way to do it. I mean, to hold on to the lapels, to have both of your feet next to your hips, next to your butt, and to look over your head whenever you're bridging to the side that you're going to. I mean, I didn't have that fundamental down, and it's something I'm still really working on. I mean, those basic movements, I think it was Roy Harris, he called them the unstoppable movements, right. The bridge, the shrimp, and those in combination. Improvement in standing and base, improvement in all my the kick whenever you go to standing base, improvement in the side kicks that we're doing. I mean, drastically improved over that period of time, which is super exciting. I mean, the self-defense aspect of what we do, the complete buy-in, because whenever, I think January last year, I wasn't bought into self-defense. It wasn't I did it because that's what we do.
Right.
But I didn't see the point in it, and now I do, and now I enjoy it more, and now, and now, we drill the entries into the self-defense, and man, it has a lot of application in just regular grappling as well. The wrist locks that you do in it, the different grip breaks that you do, the lapel breaks, all that stuff really has a lot of application in the everyday grappling that we do with the self-defense curriculum.
Yeah.
What else for you?
For me, it's still everything, and it's just, it's not something I do a lot, like think about where I was, a couple months ago, I guess.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll flip back through the notes, look through notes and see, I know I've gone over something before. What did I write down? I want to add something to it when something sticks out. I didn't even start taking notes until March this year.
Wow.
So that's when I started you know, I know you pretty much were the one who suggested it, and I was like, yeah, it's probably a good idea. And at that time, I'd gone out and bought a physical notebook and started just writing down what I could. I've talked about it before, but I mean, I was flipping back through it the other day when I was coming up with, like, thinking about all this stuff. There's notes in there I have no idea.
No recollection of
No
what the
clue
movie is.
what that is. I'm reading it back and I'm like, none of that makes any sense. So I know, I'm sure at the time I wrote it, it made perfect sense, but my note taking's improved a lot, you know, with more understanding, obviously. I don't even know what position we were starting in these notes. They were terrible. It's a full page of nonsense. So, but I guess that's the progression everybody's got to go through, right? But it's just funny. Just funny again to see the difference a year can make. Yeah.
And I think too, I think back on it and I think of a couple of things, and this is maybe a cause and effect, and one is that I've improved how I learn jiu-jitsu. Like I understand, and it's probably because I've seen the techniques 10 or 12 times already, maybe more, 20 times, who knows, on what it is. But I feel like that I understand, and maybe it's a new position or something. There's not many new positions right now, right? We've been exposed to most positions. But maybe it's a new technique or something we're going over in advanced class. But I feel myself learning that better, if that makes sense, and kind of not just going back. Now there'll still be some times where, you know, John shows the technique 3 times and I go back and I'm like, I have no idea what that just was. What position are we starting in? You know, I mean, it still happens on occasion,
right? But
much less than it did then. It was almost every time then, and now it's almost never. And I think that, just thinking back on it now, I think that really started whenever I started helping with the kids class, right? Because I was seeing it more and more, because, you know, quite generally what John's going over is in the kids classes is to not the level of detail that we do it in the adults class, but very similar. He's going over the techniques that we're doing in the adult class for that day or that week or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that was really helpful in the overall picking up and learning techniques.
I've told John that the way he explains it to the kids is perfect for how I need to understand it.
We should probably go to the kids class.
It's
take it, not help.
it breaks it. It just simplifies everything to, like, the bare bones necessity. Like, these are just the things you need to know, and then essentially play with it. Because, like I've told you before, I can watch a technique or I can go to do it, or I see it demonstrated. Until I go to do it, resistance or not, I usually don't know what questions I have until I run into the first problem, you know, and then or I run into 100%. Something that's maybe not a problem, but I'm like, it could go either way. This hand, that hand, I'm not sure which one I'm supposed to grab. Something like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's usually when I run into my questions that you know, and that's just something I've noticed recently, that kind of how that works, where I think I understand something and it's like, yeah, no, I don't have any questions. Well, it's because I haven't messed it up yet, you know. I'm going to mess it up, and then I'm going to have the question to try to get over the hurdle, you know.
Yeah, agreed. And I think, too, with the kids class, whenever he doesn't go into every single detail of the technique, it also sparks a memory of, oh, you got to do this in the technique as well. He's not going over that because it's maybe just a little too much detail.
Yeah.
And I think that also kind of helps you learn a little better whenever you're putting those kind of pieces of the puzzle together in your own mind.
And to go with what you're saying about learning stuff better or more things making sense, I was telling you the other day about watching that guard passing video with the double under. And the guy, you know, pulls the hips up, which is a detail that John has said every single time. I know the detail. But it wasn't until, you know, sometime last week or the week before, whatever it was, I was doing the pass and somebody was extending their leg out to make it real heavy, you know? And I was like, man, I can't, like, lift it up. And that was never a problem before. So I always knew the detail of lifting up the hips, but I never knew why. And that lightens up that leg, so they can't, push down the same way. And the video also covered, if they're going to push down with the leg, then pull the leg down and go the way they want to go, pass that way. So, but until running into that issue, because when I'm drilling the double underpass, I'm pulling up, but because the people are being, in general, good training partners for me being a white belt, they're not, making their legs super heavy. And it's not until I roll where somebody doesn't want me to pass their guard that I run into that. And then that detail explanation, and John's probably said it, I just haven't heard it, but it's like
100%, yeah.
Kind of that saying of being ready for the technique, where there's nothing I can do about it, and there's nothing you or John or anybody else is going to tell me until I'm actually ready to hear it, where it's going to make sense, and then that timing lines
Especially
up.
with you, Phil.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad, but it is what it is. But everything lines up to where all of a sudden it clicks and makes sense, and now that detail is burned into your brain because all of a sudden it's super important,
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And just whenever you're talking about that and talking about passing, last year at the beginning of the year, I had no idea what a back step was, much less employing it in what I'm doing for passing, which I do now regularly, which it seems crazy, right? I mean, it seems crazy that those types of concepts that just a year ago I didn't know or understand.
My ears were normal a year ago.
Good point. Folks, if you can't see, maybe go to the YouTube channel.
They're not great.
Phil has a wicked case of cauliflower ear in both ears. Wicked case.
That took about 6 weeks to happen.
Yeah, his ears are very delicate.
Super delicate.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. You put your little earplugs in.
I do.
So that they don't close up.
It's true.
Yeah. Plus you look like a badass too,
False advertising.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Big time. So, anything else for 2018? I think we pretty well covered it.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was a cool thought I had the other day, where it's just, you get always thinking about like how you can get better and like what's going on right now, and you just. It's not like something I'm going to do all the time, but I mean, just to actually look back and have a nice time frame of a solid year from like now to a year ago. And it's crazy, because sometimes like you want to learn so fast, because it sucks not being good. You just want to get better and get better. But stepping back and looking at it, a year is really not that big of a deal, and look at the difference it's made,
Absolutely. And I would urge everyone listening to this podcast, make their own list of things that a year ago that you couldn't do, because sometimes there's a level of frustration with not getting good fast enough. I think I said it before, but Lee Harrison, one of the black belts at the Denver school, he
Charlotte.
said, huh?
Charlotte.
What did I say?
You said Denver. No,
Oh, sorry, Charlotte School. Yeah, sorry. But he's, by the way, really good at Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And we were rolling. And, listen, there's nothing I'm going to ever do to Lee, because he's going to continue training that would ever even come close to escaping or any advancement in a position. My job is to see how long I can go without getting submitted. And if he's really nice, then that could be a minute or two. But
it's whenever he feels like
it is 100% whenever he feels like it. I get it. I'm good with it. But it goes back to that story of, he sensed a level of frustration, which I did have, which I had no right to have.
Right.
Right. And he said something to me that day. And he said, Jeff, when you're on the mat for 9 years, you're going to know all these movements too. Maybe not. But it kind of eliminated any frustration I have. I don't have it now. Yeah, obviously, when I'm trying to work a technique and maybe I feel like I've set it up nicely and it doesn't happen, it's like, work on that more. But it really did change it really did change my perspective on training for the better.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like frustration, I think is a word everybody can kind of relate to. Not necessarily the case. Like every time I roll, I'm having fun.
Yeah, sure, exactly.
Obviously, I want to get better. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But you want to get better faster, and that's that thing that drives a lot of people. Drives me, to want to go in and get better and train. But it's just sometimes step back because like. You can look a year ago, and then you can kind of look a year in the future. Like looking long term, like you want to be a black belt in 10 years from now. That's really far away. That's hard to see. What I can actually see is like 1 year ago, I didn't know to sit up in the guard and didn't know how to shrimp or bridge or any of it.
Yeah.
It's easy to see how far you've come in 1 year, and it's kind of realistic to have expectations for yourself to kind of keep improving another year in the future.
Yeah. So what's that look like? What are some of your goals, and tangibly, what are some things that you would like to in 2019 accomplish? Maybe with techniques, maybe with competition, with anything to do with jiu-jitsu.
Well, I plan on competing a few times, and one major thing that's been bothering me recently is that I never really trained no-gi, and I don't know why all of a sudden it's bothering me, but it's kind of like I've been ignoring a giant part of jiu-jitsu.
Well, it was because your shot was trash, and now you're working on your shot.
That's true.
I mean, that's
still very terrible.
Yeah, but at least you put your head down every time you shoot.
Yeah. I feel like you're really sabotaging me with these instructions you're giving me.
Folks, I do not tell him to put his head down when he shoots. I tell him to put it up, but he just doesn't listen.
It's true. It's the bad ears. So, yeah, I just, it's been bothering me that I haven't really trained it a lot. I still don't know. It's like I was saying 6 months ago, I don't really like no-gi. I don't really want to compete in no-gi because I don't train in it because I don't know where to make grips. And here I am 6 months later and I'm still having the same kind of terrible excuse. So that's been something I've been thinking about lately, and I'm going to work on that and train without the gi a little bit.
We did a little no-gi rolling.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I don't know what to do with my hands. I feel like Ricky Bobby in that thing. I don't know what to do with my hands because there's nothing to grab, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
that's one of the things for me for sure.
No, absolutely, and it was never I don't train no-gi because our no-gi night is Thursday night, and that's my night of rest. I mean that's it. I'm sure that if you're going to do more no-gi, I'll probably end up doing more no-gi. I like it. I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, I don't have anything against no-gi and do enjoy it, but I'll probably do a little more no-gi myself.
Yeah, I mean, I also typically take Thursdays off, but I feel like I was taking them off because it was no-gi, and if I was going to take a day off, I might as well take the one I don't train very often was my line of thinking, but I don't know. I just don't like that I've been actively ignoring a giant part, and I'm not going to get better at it not doing it, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and I think that you're going to see, too, that it's a lot more similar than it is different than with the gi. Obviously, you can escape bad positions probably easier without the gi, right?
I'm always in those.
Yeah, same here. Same here. So competitions, are you going to do no-gi competitions, you think?
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's one for you?
I think that, like always, doubling down on fundamentals. I mean, that's where it's at. I want my fundamental game, what we do in fundamentals. I want that to be part of every rolling session, and to just those are some of my favorite classes. I mean, I love the advanced classes too, but I really enjoy getting to do and hone the fundamental techniques more and more, and my fundamentals are getting better. So really doubling down on fundamentals. To try to get in. Now we've got on Mondays and Wednesdays 3 kids classes. Really, really continuing to make that effort to get in whenever I'm in town, whenever I can, to help with the kids, because I have seen the benefit of that. And any of you out there, if you have an opportunity to help coach with your kids program, first off, you're giving back to the academy that gives so much to you. So that's first off. Second, man, it really improves your jiu-jitsu. Tangibly, just seeing and being able to learn quicker, it makes a big difference whenever you're helping with the kids. And plus, it's just fun. I mean, it's fun to see the kids develop and kind of come out of their shell whenever they're doing jiu-jitsu. I mean, they just, some of the kids competing and all that stuff. It really is very fulfilling, and it is something that we give, but they give back just as much to us on that. How about you? What else?
I'm gonna work more on drilling more, but trying to drill better. One thing we've been talking about is trying to figure out kind of drilling a whole scenario, right?
Yeah.
Like starting a takedown, a guard pass, to a submission of some sort.
Yeah.
And this was something that we kind of had as a class for a short period of time. And I always liked it because those transitions were always where I was just dead lost.
Yeah.
And then Garrett came in one day. One of the people from the Charlotte School was fantastic and
Shout out Garrett Hill.
loves drilling, and he was doing this with me, and I was just being the dummy basically. And he was like, "You want to do anything?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm just kind of watching, right now to see what he's doing." And then I really liked it, and we were talking about it afterwards, and he said that's what I think he said like Olympic wrestlers kind of do. They drill a takedown in the pin, you know, and like that's what's going to happen, in the role and in the competition or whatever, is you're going to drill the takedown and a pass and submission or whatever. But for me, the main objective is getting a takedown and a pass smooth. Typically what I do is I have that hitch and hesitation where I reassess where we are after a takedown or whatever. Even just starting, sometimes I get into one position and I freeze and I look at what's going on, and it's just not natural. And I want to try to drill and figure those situations and patterns and just start building on that.
Yeah, no, I think so too, and I think that just seeing the practical benefit of what we're doing, just again the same example I used earlier, which was with the triangles, to drill that and start doing it, and now lo and behold, it's better. And same thing with the passing drills. I mean, we did the one at Top Martial Arts that I've never done before with the where you were windshield wipering in on the legs whenever your opponent was down and had their legs inside of your legs. You were holding on to the gi pants on the inside and windshield wipering over, and then doing a leg drag. And leg drag is this really important passing fundamental to learn. And it was, in a space of just doing it, I think probably for a total of not even 30 minutes in that drill, obviously at different times, we would do 2 minutes, and do that. It's gotten a lot better, and I've seen it in the passes. I've used that leg drag since then in passing at least a dozen times. And I've never used it before. And
think about, and to kind of just expand on why I want to do the drilling, everything you're good at, is just what you've done the most practice with. And you did the Kimura in a couple classes, and then you started working on that and going for it, and then drilling it more or just doing it in rolls. It's
all the time. I'm always looking for it.
Without the practice, it's never going to improve. Anything I've had a little bit of success with, whether it's playing in people's collars all the time or just that loop choke entry, like I can remember drilling it and then that's the only way it sticks, you know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I do my best and I want to get better at doing it during class times. You know, I'm always trying to improve that and use that time the best I can. But to take on a little bit more myself and open mats and stuff, like even yesterday working with Ivan, who was showing me, I said, you know, that half guard sweep he was doing, I was like, you're giving me a lot of trouble with that. I like that.
Was it a deep half guard sweep, the Gordo?
He was, kind of shoots underneath, grabs the foot, and then wraps the leg. So I was like, that's cool. And he's like, well, yeah, I've been working on that. Do you want to drill it? So we took a round and he showed me what he was doing and we drilled it back and forth. Like that's kind of something I want to take upon myself to use times like that to drill something, because there's a lot of times in rolling and open mats where I'm like, what did you do? And somebody shows me and I'm like, all right, cool. It's not intentional, but I'm not going to remember if I don't drill it or do it.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm trying to, take that and improve on it.
Yeah. No, very good. Another one for me is just going back to the Origin Immersion Jiu-Jitsu camp.
Yeah.
Whenever that thing pops up that it's available, I'm reserving it. I think that was, a unique experience, and B, it was just exposure to people and that have been doing this for so long, and they taught us so much, not just technique, but just so much outside of technique as well, just having the conversations with everyone, and also to see the same folks that we did last year, Jack and all those guys again. I think that's going to be a lot of fun, and I really want to do that, as well as continue to wherever my work travels take me, to continue to train at different places and just get that exposure, because that exposure it's so much fun to meet those people that are like-minded, that are doing the same thing that you're doing, because jiu-jitsu is hard, and it's hard, but it's also fun, and just to see other people out there doing it and be exposed to other teachers, I think it's really important in my campaign personally.
Agreed. Yeah, I had a really good time. 99% of the people I've met that do this, I really like.
Yeah.
I obviously, I haven't met, I guess, that many. Only doing it for 1 year, but so far so good. And I'm definitely looking forward to going back, seeing some of those people again, and learning a lot. I feel like I learned a lot in a week. And because there's videos and stuff, and I went back, and I feel like I got more out of it because I went through and uploaded all the videos, so I got to watch them again, and refresh that stuff. Because it's a lot,
It's a lot.
But there was a lot of things that I've seen, and I still see stuff like today where John shows a technique and it clicks in my head. I'm like, I've seen that, and that's it's cool. I'm very glad I went.
Yeah, and for those of you out there listening, we have all those videos posted of most of the training sessions with my expert camera work. Not really, because I get excited, whenever something was going on. I'd like pay attention to the move, and the camera was all going off, and so it wasn't the best camera work. But
it happens.
But it does. But it was. Those are all posted on the BJJ Campaign podcast YouTube channel, as well as some of the episodes. Hopefully this episode will be up and on there as well. So go to the YouTube channel and check it out if you want to. It's a great resource for you.
For sure. Another one for maybe trying to get a little better with the kids' classes. I don't talk a whole lot, especially outside of trying to help with the technique portion for what I can.
No, that's new to me, really.
So yeah, and Charlie's come up to me before and been like, you can talk more, and it's it's always that same thing. But just trying to get a little bit better at that personally, and it gets easier as you get to know some of the kids a little bit more. I've never really worked with kids. Still am very childlike myself. So, you know,
Yeah.
I feel like I can relate.
Yeah, for sure.
But, yeah.
So I saw something that you had down as well, and that was I'm very proud of the fact that I got Derek into jiu-jitsu last year. It was that to me, he's one of my good friends, and none of my friends, they're like, why do you do this so much? What are you doing? I'm like, because it's awesome and it's making me more awesome.
And what's so crazy when I talk to them and I'm like, man, like, we like the same other stuff. Like, just trust me on this, you know? Yeah. Try it. They just don't listen.
No, but yeah. Maybe they're idiots. I mean, if they're friends with us, they've probably not got everything together.
That's very true.
You know what I mean?
It's very true.
but you know, I'm very proud of it. And man, is he getting better? 3 stripes on his white belt now.
Yeah.
So that was his accomplishment in all of 2018, because I think he started. Gosh, when did he start?
Very recently. I think,
like
because I think I remember
February.
he was here with a fight, right?
Yeah,
he was the one who was here for one of the fights he said was going to start.
Yeah, like February or March.
Yeah, I remember
something
that.
like that. Mm-hmm. You know, and he's doing great. He comes to our Sunday rolls. I love, it's great because he usually comes every Sunday. So I can just see his improvement.
Yeah.
All the time, and it's awesome. I'm very, very proud that he got into it and is sticking with it and loves it like we do. And I want to continue that. I would love to at least each year get at least one person. I mean, that, you know.
Yeah, like
I'm a pretty decent salesman, you know.
Yeah.
You would think I would be able to get more people into it, but it's just not worked out that way.
Right. Well, like, and you always hear about, like, you know, that CrossFit guy, and you don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
With like this,
For sure.
but just try it, you know. But yeah, I had that down. I got one of my buddies that's now is in New Jersey. Mike, I was trying to get him to listen, and he said he's going to start. He said in February.
Why in February?
He says he's got a personal trainer deal that he signed a 1-year deal with or whatever. I guess that runs out in February. Listen, I've been through it. I said you're more than able to do both, but look, if he starts, he's got a similar. He's going to be 100% addicted. You know.
Does he listen to the podcast? Get him to listen to the podcast.
Sometimes he has.
Send it to him.
I'll let him know he's got a shout out. But yeah. So I'm curious. Hopefully he tries it because he'd be good at it. He's got the same personality. He'd pick it up real fast.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great goal for both of us, just to have. I mean, we just need training partners, and to be good to the training partners that you have, and to really, foster their growth with whatever you can. Everybody's a teacher, right? I mean, John's our professor, and he's phenomenal, but everybody's got something to teach, and we can learn from everyone, you know? So,
yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time, I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago, I had a long conversation with Ryan because I have questions about how what I should be doing when I work with people who are like brand new, because
Ryan Leggett, one of the black belts at Fight Club in Denver.
Because it's important to me that they, have a good experience and they get the most out of their first couple classes. Because I know what it's meant to me, and I try to show my enthusiasm without scaring them off,
Yeah.
Like, this is the best, you can't necessarily do that, but
somewhat aggressive in that, yeah.
You want them to have a good time, but you want them to learn the most, that they can. And I want to do the best I can to make sure, they get a good chance at trying it out, and I can do my part in that. And be the best training partner I can for brand new people, all the way to, what, if I'm working with Ryan, what he would expect me to do to try to help. I mean, when I roll with Ryan, it's not like competitive, but like I'm still gonna,
Not at all.
I'm gonna do what I can.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be much, but trying to help him
As
get
they
the
say,
most
to not
out of
die. Yeah.
yeah. Try to help him and myself get the most out of our time training together. It's super important to me that I not only get better myself, but I want to be helping everybody else as much as I can.
Yeah, yeah. And I've said it in a lot of these podcasts, and that was a saying from Rafael Lolado Jr. is you train 50% for yourself and 50% for your training partner. And if you truly show that, that also is leading by example, and it's making the people who are coming up, the new people who are enthused about it, like the Codys that are out there with us, it's teaching them the right way to then treat that new person who's coming in, and to share everything that you can with them, and to help foster them getting better, just like you want to get better, because that's only going to help is to bring up those training partners and bring it up. And Steve Hall said it in our conversation last week of building the team from within, and that's an important part of it.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about this last night too. Like, I remember, vividly the first couple times when I was rolling, kind of like one of my earliest, driving motivators for myself to get better was, knowing I didn't know anything, or what to do, anything at all. I was like, man, I hope I'm not, wasting their time. This is the time they have to train, and I don't know what to do. Is this a waste of time? I wanted to get better so that I could help you train more, because it sucks, obviously, not knowing anything. I'm bad enough as it is a year later. But when I first started, I was like, man, I feel like I'm wasting your time. And you and everybody else had always said the same thing. It's not. And everybody, you can learn stuff from everybody, and I do, and everybody does. But I mean, from the beginning, that was a major driving force for me, that I want to get to the point where I can help other people get better and I can push them,
Yeah.
That was a major factor for me starting out. And it still is. I want you to have to do, try harder with me to push you, which in turn still keeps me, pushes me.
Absolutely. 100% agree with all of them. And and then we get better, and then we, try to push those upper belts that are also getting better and helping us get better. I mean, that's what it's all about, to do that so that the whole team gets better. And so important. It's so important. And it will be a focus for 2019 for me. Anything else, Phil?
Man, I feel like the only thing I have on here that I'm totally trash at is takedowns, but I feel like we kind of covered that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You're just going to keep on plugging away at them, right?
Yeah, figure something out.
Yep. Keep on plugging away at them. But you do bait that guillotine for that Von Flue defense very well.
I do.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Very well.
I'm getting a lot faster with that, yeah.
Out of necessity. So, guys, this is a year-end wrap-up. Thank you. This is episode 14. Can you believe we've done 14 episodes? It seemed like yesterday we started this whole thing. And actually...
It's kind of the whole point of this episode.
Yeah, and actually, Russell said that he thinks we've at least got 1 or 2 stripes on our podcasting belt, but I don't think we're there yet. We'll see about that in the future. But Phil, tell everyone how they can support us, what they can do, where we're at.
Man, the biggest thing I think would just be listen and send us questions or thoughts or things on how you think we can improve. I'd love that information.
We're open to it for sure.
And
topics.
Usual Facebook, Instagram.
We're blowing up on Instagram. How many followers we got now? 30, 40?
Somewhere. Yeah, I have no idea.
10, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, it's 25, 30 people.
Thank you for that. Also, we've got the BJJ Campaign shirts.
Yeah.
For sale. So those are out there on the website, BJJCampaignPodcast.com. Right. Those are there. We sold a couple of those already. And that's it. Just keep listening. And also, just keep going to class, keep training. This is your campaign. And just get out there and try to be better each and every day. So this is the 2018 wrap up.
That's right. See you next year.
You know the ground is up. Yeah. Everybody that trains, you know the game. Yeah. So let's get it. Slap it up, bump it and roll. Hey. Yeah, that's the way that it goes. Ain't no better way to better yourself in this game. You're feeling the growth. That's time on the mat. We put in the work. Believe it ain't easy, I know. But we train for the love of the game, the love of the art. Now slap it up, bump it, let's roll.